The American aircraft carrier, a symbol of naval power and technological might, is a testament to human ingenuity and ambition. Among these titans of the sea, one name stands out, a legend etched into the annals of history: USS Enterprise CV-6. More than just a ship, she was a character in the grand drama of the Second World War, a vessel that bore witness to the most pivotal moments of the Pacific theater. Her story is one of unwavering resilience, of a quiet strength that belied the fury she could unleash. She was a silent guardian of the seas, a beacon of hope in the darkest of times, and a harbinger of a new era of warfare. The era in which the Enterprise was conceived was a time of significant change for naval doctrine. The old guard, steeped in the traditions of dreadnoughts and gun battles, was slowly giving way to a new, more dynamic form of naval power. The notion of air power projected from the sea was still in its infancy, but a handful of visionaries recognized its immense potential. The Treaty of Washington, signed in 1922, had placed strict limits on the size and number of battleships and battlecruisers that the world's major naval powers could build. This restriction inadvertently spurred a new kind of naval arms race, one focused on the development of aircraft carriers. The designers and engineers of the United States Navy embarked on a new project, a class of carriers that would incorporate the lessons learned from the first generation of American carriers: USS Langley CV-1, USS Lexington CV-2, and USS Saratoga CV-3. These early ships were conversions of a collier and battlecruisers, and while they served as invaluable testbeds for carrier operations, they were not purpose-built for the role. The new design, designated as the Yorktown class, would be a clean slate, a vessel designed from the keel up to serve as a floating airfield. Construction of the Yorktown class carriers, Yorktown CV-5, Enterprise CV-6, and Hornet CV-8, was a monumental undertaking. The Enterprise, the second of her class, was laid down on July 16, 1934, at the Newport News Shipbuilding and Dry Dock Company in Virginia. The shipyard was a hive of activity, a symphony of hammering steel and welding sparks. For nearly 3 years, the workers of Newport News meticulously assembled the ship, piece by piece, a testament to their skill and dedication. The ship's hull, a sleek and powerful form, slowly took shape on the slipway, a skeleton of steel that would soon be filled with the complex machinery and living spaces of a warship. On October 3, 1936, a crowd gathered to witness a momentous occasion. With a bottle of champagne in hand, Lulie H. Swanson, the wife of Secretary of the Navy, Claude A. Swanson, christened the ship with the words, "I christen the Enterprise." The ship, a magnificent vessel of over 20,000 tons, slid gracefully down the slipway and into the James River, a new giant ready to take on the world. Following her launch, the ship was towed to the outfitting pier, where her final assembly began. Her flight deck, a vast expanse of steel and wood, was laid, her aircraft elevators were installed, and her complex network of electrical and mechanical systems was brought to life. On May 12, 1938, the Enterprise was officially commissioned into the United States Navy. Her first commanding officer, Captain Newton H. White, Jr., took command of the ship and her crew, a dedicated group of sailors and airmen who would forge a bond that would last a lifetime. The ship, with her sleek lines and powerful presence, was a marvel of modern naval engineering, a machine designed for a new kind of war. Her story, a tale of courage, survival, and ultimate triumph, was just beginning. Part 2. The Heart of the Fleet. The Yorktown-class carriers were a revolutionary step forward in naval design. The USS Enterprise, at the time of her commissioning, was a showcase of cutting-edge technology. Measuring 824 feet in length and with a beam of 109 feet, she was a substantial vessel. a floating city capable of sustaining a large crew and a powerful air wing. Her displacement, or weight, was approximately 20,000 tons, a significant size that allowed her to absorb damage and remain afloat even in the most intense combat. At the heart of the Enterprise were her 4 steam turbines, powered by 9 boilers, which generated an immense amount of power. This propulsion system allowed her to reach a top speed of over 32 knots, or nearly 37 miles per hour. This speed was crucial for carrier operations, allowing the ship to make wind to assist with aircraft takeoffs and landings, and to outrun surface threats. Her range, a critical factor for long-duration operations in the vastness of the Pacific, was approximately 12,500 miles at a cruising speed of 15 knots. This impressive range was a testament to the efficiency of her engineering plant. The Enterprise's primary offensive and defensive capabilities lay in her air wing. Her flight deck, a massive 809 feet by 109 feet, was an operational hub for up to 90 aircraft. These planes were a mix of fighters, bombers, and torpedo planes, each with a specific role in combat. The Grumman F-4F Wildcat, a rugged and effective fighter, was the air wing's primary defender, protecting the carrier from enemy air attacks. The Douglas SBD Dauntless, a slow but incredibly accurate dive bomber, was the air wing's sledgehammer, capable of delivering devastating blows to enemy warships. Finally, the Douglas TBD Devastator and later the Grumman TBF Avenger were the torpedo planes, designed to deliver their payload from low altitude. The crew of the Enterprise was a microcosm of America itself. Approximately 2,900 men lived and worked aboard the ship, a complex and highly specialized group of individuals. From the pilots who risked their lives in the skies to the engineers who kept the turbines turning, every man had a critical role to play. Life on board was a blend of routine and high-stakes tension. Daily life consisted of drills, maintenance, and the endless work of preparing for combat. The ship was a self-contained world, with a mess hall, a laundry, a post office, and even a small library. The bond between the crew members was a unique kind of camaraderie, forged by shared experience and a common purpose. In the years leading up to the war, the Enterprise engaged in a series of training exercises and maneuvers, honing her skills and perfecting her operations. She sailed the Atlantic and the Pacific, her crew becoming a well-oiled machine, their movements synchronized and their actions precise. They practiced takeoffs and landings, simulated air attacks, and perfected the art of operating a large air wing. They were preparing for a war that they knew was coming, a conflict that would test their skills and their resolve to the limit. They were a new generation of sailors, a new kind of warrior, ready to face the challenges of a new kind of war. Part 3. The Gathering Storm. The 1930s drew to a close and the world descended into conflict. The war in Europe raged and tensions in the Pacific mounted. The United States, though officially neutral, was preparing for the inevitable. The Enterprise, along with the other carriers of the Pacific Fleet, was a key component of America's defense strategy. Her mission was to protect the nation's interests in the vast expanses of the Pacific Ocean, a task that would soon be tested in a crucible of fire. On November 28, 1941, the Enterprise departed from her home port of Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Her mission was to deliver a squadron of Grumman F-4F Wildcat fighters to Wake Island, a small but strategically important outpost in the Pacific. Her departure was a routine operation, one of many that the ship had undertaken in her career. As she sailed westward, the world was on the brink of a profound change, a change that would alter the course of history forever. On the morning of December 7th, 1941, the Enterprise was approximately 200 miles west of Pearl Harbor. At 6:45, her patrol planes began their search for submarines. At 7:15, a message was received from one of the planes. sighted Japanese forces attacking Pearl Harbor. The message was garbled and difficult to understand, but the gravity of the situation was immediately apparent. The Enterprise's crew, stunned by the news, went to general quarters. The war had arrived, and they were in the middle of it. The Enterprise, though not in the harbor, was in a precarious position. She was a high-value target, and the Japanese would undoubtedly be looking for her. Her commanding officer, now Captain George D. Murray, ordered the ship to turn and head toward Pearl Harbor, hoping to engage the enemy. Her air wing, which was in the process of launching a search for the enemy fleet, was now ordered to return to the ship. A few of her planes, caught in the chaos of the attack, were shot down by friendly fire. It was a tragic and confusing start to the war, a moment of immense tension and uncertainty. The attack on Pearl Harbor was a devastating blow to the United States Pacific Fleet. The battleships, the very symbols of American naval power, were either sunk or badly damaged. The carriers, however, were spared. The Enterprise, along with her sister ships Lexington, CV-2, and Saratoga, CV-3, were at sea, a crucial stroke of luck that would prove vital in the coming months. The old guard of naval power, the battleships, had been rendered obsolete in a single, brutal attack. The new guard, the aircraft carriers, were now the last line of defense for the American Pacific Fleet. In the days and weeks that followed the attack, the Enterprise was a hive of activity. She was the heart of the fleet, a symbol of American resolve and a rallying point for a nation in shock. Her aircraft conducted patrols and searches. Her crew worked tirelessly to prepare for the battles to come. They were no longer a training fleet. They were a fighting force, a last beacon of hope in a sea of despair. The world had changed in a single day, and the Enterprise, with her powerful air wing and her dedicated crew, was ready to take on the challenges of a new kind of war. She was a silent giant, a vessel of immense power and resilience, ready to write her name in the history books. Part 4. The Path to Vengeance. The months following the attack on Pearl Harbor were a time of grim determination for the United States Navy. The Japanese, with their lightning-fast campaign, had seized control of vast swaths of the Pacific. The American forces, battered but not broken, were in a desperate struggle to hold the line. The aircraft carriers, the survivors of Pearl Harbor, were now the most important assets in the fleet. The USS Enterprise, with her battle-hardened crew, was at the forefront of the fight. In the early months of 1942, the Enterprise participated in a series of raids against Japanese-held islands in the Pacific. These were not major fleet actions, but rather a series of hit-and-run attacks designed to harass the enemy and boost American morale. On February 1, 1942, the Enterprise launched an attack on the Kwajalein Atoll in the Marshall Islands. Her planes, a mix of dive bombers and torpedo planes, struck at Japanese airfields and shipping, inflicting damage and sending a clear message. The United States Navy was still a force to be reckoned with. Following the success of the Marshall Islands raid, the Enterprise continued her campaign of harassment. She launched strikes on Wake Island and Marcus Island, continuing to chip away at Japanese control of the Pacific. These raids were a valuable learning experience for the air wing and the crew. They were practicing their skills in a real-world combat scenario, a high-stakes training exercise that was preparing them for the battles to come. On April 18, 1942, the Enterprise participated in one of the most daring raids of the war, the Doolittle Raid. The mission, a joint operation with the carrier USS Hornet CV-8, was to launch a squadron of B-25 Mitchell bombers from the carrier's flight decks and bomb the Japanese home islands. The raid was a desperate gamble, an audacious plan that had never been attempted before. The B-25s, heavy bombers designed for land-based operations, had no business taking off from a carrier, but the mission was deemed too important to pass up. The Enterprise, along with the Hornet, sailed westward, a silent procession of immense power. The carrier's crews were on high alert, their every move carefully calculated. The B-25s, their wings folded and their bombs loaded, were a strange sight on the carrier's flight decks. The mission was a success, with all 16 bombers launching and striking their targets in Japan. The raid inflicted minimal damage, but its psychological impact was immense. It showed the Japanese that their homeland was vulnerable, a shock that would have profound consequences for their future strategy. For the American people, it was a much-needed morale boost, a sign that the United States was ready to fight back. The Doolittle raid was a testament to the versatility and adaptability of the American aircraft carrier. The Enterprise and the Hornet had served as floating airfields, a mobile platform for an attack that had a massive psychological impact. The raid was a bold statement, a promise of things to come, a silent declaration of American resolve. The Enterprise, a veteran of the Pacific, was now more than just a ship. She was a symbol of a nation's defiance, a harbinger of a new kind of war. Her journey had been one of quiet determination, a long and arduous path that was leading her to the most important battles of her career. Part 5. The Battle of Midway. Following the Doolittle raid, the Japanese High Command, shaken by the audacity of the American attack, began to plan a major offensive. Their target was Midway Atoll, a small but strategically vital island in the middle of the Pacific. The plan was to lure the American fleet into a decisive battle, destroy their remaining carriers, and seize control of the Pacific. The Japanese believed that they held a significant advantage, with 4 of their most powerful carriers ready for battle. They were a formidable force, a strike group of immense power and experience. The United States Navy, however, was not caught off guard. Thanks to the efforts of American codebreakers who had deciphered the Japanese naval code, the American High Command was aware of the Japanese plan. Admiral Chester W. Nimitz, the commander of the Pacific Fleet, decided to meet the Japanese challenge head-on. He deployed his 3 available carriers, USS Enterprise, CV-6, USS Hornet, CV-8, and the recently repaired USS Yorktown, CV-5. The stage was set for one of the most important battles in naval history, a clash of titans that would determine the fate of the Pacific. On the morning of June 4, 1942, the battle began. The Enterprise, along with her sister ships, launched a massive airstrike against the Japanese fleet. The American planes, a mix of fighters, dive bombers, and torpedo planes, flew toward the enemy, their pilots determined to avenge the attack on Pearl Harbor. The battle was a chaotic and intense affair, a maelstrom of explosions, fire, and smoke. The Japanese carriers, their decks filled with aircraft, were a vulnerable target. The American dive bombers, led by the incredibly accurate Douglas SBD Dauntless, struck with devastating effect. The Enterprise's air wing, in a stunning display of skill and bravery, inflicted massive damage on the Japanese carriers. The Japanese, caught off guard by the ferocity of the American attack, were in a state of chaos. 3 of their carriers, Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu, were hit and burst into flames. The 4th, Hiryu, survived the initial attack and launched a counter-strike against the Yorktown, inflicting serious damage. The Yorktown, a veteran of the Coral Sea, was in a desperate fight for her life. The Enterprise's air wing, however, was not finished. They located the Hiryu and launched a final, decisive strike, sinking her and ending the Japanese carrier threat. The Battle of Midway was a stunning American victory. The Japanese had lost 4 of their most valuable carriers, a blow from which they would never fully recover. The battle was a turning point in the Pacific War, a decisive moment that shifted the balance of power in favor of the United States. The USS Enterprise, with her powerful air wing and her brave crew, was the hero of the day. She had proven her worth in the crucible of battle, her actions a testament to the immense power of the American aircraft carrier. She was no longer a new kind of warship. She was a legend. Part 6. A legend forged in steel. After the stunning victory at Midway, the war in the Pacific continued to rage. The USS Enterprise, now a veteran of two of the war's most pivotal battles, was in the thick of the action. Her reputation as the gray ghost of the Pacific was beginning to take shape, a testament to her incredible luck and her ability to survive in the face of overwhelming odds. Her story was one of unwavering resilience, of a quiet strength that belied the fury she could unleash. In the second half of 1942, the Enterprise participated in the Solomon Islands campaign, a long and brutal series of battles for control of the strategically important islands of Guadalcanal and Tulagi. The campaign was a test of endurance, a long and arduous struggle that would push the crews and their ships to the limit. The Enterprise, along with her sister ship USS Hornet CV-8, was at the forefront of the fight, her planes providing air cover for the American landings and engaging in fierce aerial combat with Japanese forces. The Solomon Islands campaign was a brutal affair, a battle of attrition that saw both sides suffer heavy losses. On August 24, 1942, the Enterprise participated in the Battle of the Eastern Solomons. Her air wing, in a stunning display of skill and bravery, inflicted serious damage on the Japanese carrier Ryujo, ultimately leading to her sinking. The Enterprise, however, was also damaged in the battle, hit by a bomb that caused a fire and a partial flooding. Her crew, with their characteristic resilience, worked tirelessly to save the ship, their actions a testament to their unwavering dedication. The Enterprise's luck, however, was not infinite. On October 26, 1942, during the Battle of the Santa Cruz Islands, the Enterprise was once again in the thick of the action. Her air wing, in a fierce engagement with Japanese forces, managed to inflict damage on the Japanese carrier Shokaku. The Enterprise, however, was hit by two bombs, and her flight deck was badly damaged. Her crew, with their characteristic resilience, fought to save the ship, their actions a testament to their unwavering dedication. The Enterprise, though badly damaged, survived the battle, a testament to her incredible toughness. The Battle of the Santa Cruz Islands was a brutal affair for the United States Navy. The USS Hornet, the Enterprise's sister ship, was sunk in the battle, a devastating blow to the American fleet. The Enterprise, with her battle scars and her battle-hardened crew, was now the last American carrier in the Pacific. She was the sole remaining symbol of American naval power, a beacon of hope in a sea of despair. The Enterprise, with her incredible luck and her unwavering resilience, was a legend in the making. Her story was one of quiet strength, of a vessel that bore witness to the most pivotal moments of the Pacific theater. She was a silent guardian of the seas, a vessel that would forever be remembered as the gray ghost of the Pacific. Her journey was far from over. The war continued to rage, and she was at the heart of the fight. Part 7. The Gray Ghost's Legacy. Following the brutal battles of 1942, the USS Enterprise was in a desperate struggle to remain operational. Her battle scars were a testament to the ferocity of the combat, but her spirit was unbroken. In the early months of 1943, she underwent extensive repairs and refits, her crew and the shipyard workers of Pearl Harbor working tirelessly to get her back into the fight. She was a wounded warrior, a vessel that had seen it all and was ready for more. In the second half of 1943 and into 1944, the Enterprise participated in the long and arduous campaign to seize control of the Central Pacific. The campaign was a series of island-hopping operations, a slow but steady advance toward the Japanese home islands. The Enterprise, now with a new air wing and a battle-hardened crew, was at the forefront of the fight. Her planes, a mix of Grumman F-6F Hellcat fighters and Curtiss SB-2C Helldiver bombers, were a formidable force, a powerful air wing that would prove to be a decisive factor in the battles to come. The Enterprise participated in the Battle of the Philippine Sea, a massive carrier battle that saw the American fleet inflict a crushing defeat on the Japanese. The battle, which became known as the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot, was a one-sided affair, with the American fighters shooting down hundreds of Japanese planes. The Enterprise's air wing, in a stunning display of skill and bravery, inflicted heavy losses on the Japanese, their actions a testament to the immense power of the American aircraft carrier. The Japanese, with their carrier-based air power decimated, were in a state of terminal decline. In the final months of the war, the Enterprise was a veteran of the Pacific, a vessel that had seen it all. She participated in the Battle of Leyte Gulf, the largest naval battle in history, and a series of strikes on the Japanese home islands. Her crew, though exhausted, was unwavering in their resolve. They had been fighting for years, their actions a testament to their unwavering dedication. The war was coming to a close, and they were at the heart of the final push. The war in the Pacific ended with the surrender of Japan in August 1945. The Enterprise, a veteran of almost every major battle in the Pacific, was there for the final moments of the conflict. She was a symbol of American triumph, a vessel that had endured it all and emerged victorious. Her story was one of resilience, of a quiet strength that had seen her through the darkest of times. After the war, the Enterprise participated in Operation Magic Carpet, a massive effort to transport American servicemen home from overseas. She was a welcome sight for the men she carried, a symbol of home and of a job well done. In 1947, the Enterprise was decommissioned and sold for scrap. Her career was over, but her legacy was just beginning. The USS Enterprise CV-6 was a legend in her time. She was the most decorated ship of the Second World War, a vessel that had earned 20 battle stars, a testament to her incredible service record. Her story is one of unwavering resilience, of a quiet strength that belied the fury she could unleash. She was a silent guardian of the seas, a beacon of hope in the darkest of times, and a harbinger of a new era of warfare. Her name lives on in the annals of history, a legend forged in steel, a symbol of American triumph. Her story, a tale of courage, survival, and ultimate triumph, will forever be remembered as a testament to the human spirit.